Welcome to the channel. So here we are discussing the question path with maximum probability. इस क्वेश्चन का हिंदी वर्जन वीडियो भी है जो कि आप नेक्स्ट वीडियो देख सकते हैं. So if you are interested in listening in English the solution, you can proceed further. Otherwise for Hindi you can go back and see that video. So let's start the question. You are given an undirected graph of n nodes representing by edge list where edge I equal to a comma b is an undirected edge containing nodes a and b with probability of success of traversing the edge success probability I. Given two nodes start and end, find the path with maximum probability of success to go from start to end and return its success probability. If there is no path from start to end return 0, your answer will be accepted if it differs from correct answer by at most 1e minus 5. So first of all, what undirected graph means? Undirected edges are those which are not containing any direction. So in 0 to 1, my direction can be 0 to 1. This is directed. But in this case, what is this is telling is my direction is 0 to 1 also and 1 to 0 also. It is bidirectional, so we better represent it by undirected edges, which means it can move from 0 to 1 also and 1 to 0 also. Okay, and we are given a success probability over the edge, which you can consider as its weight initially. We will discuss about it. Now we are given two nodes start and end. So let our start node be 0 and end node be 2. So both of these are given. We need to find the path with maximum probability to go from start to end and return its success probability. So we need to return the maximum probability of going from 0 to 2. So going 0 to 2, there are two paths. One is we can go directly from 0 to 2. This is one path covering this probability. Another case would be going from 0 to 1 and then from 1 to 2. So these two paths are available. So in case of 0 to 2 directly, my probability will be 0.2, and if I go from 0 to 1, my probability is 0.5, and again if I go from 1 to 2, my probability is again 0.5. So what is the total probability? 0.25. Why I am multiplying? Because probabilities are always multiplied. So my answer is 0.25. If you are going from 0 to 1 with probability 0.5 and 1 to 2 with probability 0.5, so we will have 0.5 into 0.5. So done. Maximum probability 0, 2 and 0, 0.25. Out of this 0, 0.25 is maximum, hence we return this answer. So now what we are going to do, we can see that this is something like Dijkstra with a slight modification. So what is the modification here? We want the maximum probability. If we want the maximum probability, then in case of Dijkstra, what we can consider, we can take a max heap in this case. First condition, we will take max heap in this case. Second condition, I was considering distance, means in Dijkstra we were considering that if distance is distance of any node, suppose n, distance of any node was greater than the weight plus new distance so what we were doing, we were updating distance of node to this value. So my distance of node was equal to this value. We were equating it. So what we were doing, if distance is greater and we want minimum distance, so we will take this distance because it is less. Now in case of probability, we want the maximum probability, so the sign would change. So if my distance is less than this thing, then I will update it because I want a larger number here. Okay, and when we go further, we will also see if my distance at any point is already greater than whatever probability I am getting for now, we can skip this path. I don't want it. Why? Suppose you have the probability stored as 0.5 and your probability here is 0.2, but we want the maximum probability. Now from source to another node there is a probability of 0.5 and to that node only we have 0.2, but as we want maximum, we already have maximum stored, so we can skip this probability as we don't need it now. Hence this condition is there. And other than this, if we are not able to get a path from start to end, we will return 0. So that's the case. Whole is Dijkstra and we will be doing it like I explained. The conditions that would change are also explained. So let's look at the code. First, building the graph. So there we were taking the weight of the edges. Here we will take success probability. So here success probability is taken into consideration. Then the next change, what I told, max heap, which is taken here. Then we are taking this vector of maximum probability. So this vector is nothing but the distance vector which we were taking before, which we were initializing to int max or -1 whatever. Now this is initialized to 0 because the minimum probability which we can have is 0. And now maximum probability of start node is kept as 1. Why 1? Because if my start node is 0 and I need to go from 0 to 0, then my probability is obviously 1. I can traverse from the node to itself. So hence probability is 1 in this case. Then we will push the probability and the current node in the queue. Now if my queue is not empty, we will start traversing. Take the probability and node from pq.top. pq.top means the top of the queue. Top of the queue means the current element. So the current element which is present. So here it is 1 comma the start node, which is 0 in the first case. So it can be anything here. The probability will always be 1 at the first time, but start node can be the one which is given in the question as start. So if node is equal to the end node equal to the end node means I have reached my destination. If I reach my destination, I can return the probability. Simple. If my probability is less than the maximum probability of node, continue. This is what I spoke to you about. If my probability is 0.2 and maximum probability is 0.5, I don't care, I don't need to move further, I will continue because I already have a maximum probability present, which is like the probability which is greater than prob, I have it already. Otherwise we will traverse here for each of the neighbor node and the edge probability, we will take the new probability as probability multiplied by the edge probability. As I mentioned, probabilities are to be multiplied. And then if the new probability is greater than the maximum probability of neighbor, then maximum probability of neighbor will become equal to the new probability. So here the sign is reversed, as you can see. In Dijkstra we write distance is less than this distance of neighbor. We are now writing new distance is greater than the distance of neighbor. That's it. And we are updating it, pushing the neighbor and probability in the queue as we do, and do this until node reaches our end node. And if node is not reaching the end node, this loop will complete and we will return 0.0. So this is the case where there is no path from start to end. So this is covered at the end here. So I hope you all understood this solution. Also you can see that the test cases are running, and also I have submitted this. This is running perfectly fine. So yeah, that was an easy question with just some modifications in Dijkstra. One modification, priority queue, max heap. Another modification, this less than, greater than is converted to less than, and here less than is converted to greater than. That's it. And also this multiplication instead of addition of the probabilities. So yeah, that's it from my side. I hope you all understood this solution. Thanks for watching.